What's going on, guys? What it do? Happy Friday Eve, also known as St. Patrick's Day. Wanted to jump on here and give you guys the setups that I'm seeing. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of my favorite altcoins going down my watch list. Gonna go over every one of the setups that I see. And anything that you guys chime in on and want me to pay attention to, I will chart it live for you guys because I'm nice like that. And I'm bored Thursday night, so what else can we be doing other than going live? So let's dig in, starting with Bitcoin. I'm just going to keep it fresh, man. Starting from scratch, show you how I see it, when I see it. Hopefully it helps you. Let's see what we got. So Bitcoin still in consolidation phase. Nothing's changed in this range. Still doing the same. Chart it out, and you can see that we are still between the 35 and 45K range, which we've been trading in for a very long time, since January 12th. Actually, a little bit before that, January 6th, to be precise. And all we've been doing is chopping up and down in between this range. There is a pattern that I've been tracking. Talked about it on Twitter and my last live stream. We are currently setting higher lows. Boom. Boom. And boom. So 3 consecutive higher lows on the daily chart. And higher highs. Although these last two flattened out on this horizontal plane. So the pattern that I'm watching is this ascending triangle right here. Also, from the bodies, could be looked at as an ascending wedge. Either way, we're still within the range and whatever pattern you want to call it. So not a lot of change within where we've been trading since the beginning of the year. But zooming in, you can see that there is this horizontal plane that has acted as resistance multiple times and support over here. Resistance, 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 resistance. Little fake out here. And we're currently above it. So right now, my bias is leaning towards heading back up to the top of this range at 44.5. That's, as of right now, as long as we're above 39.6, we're shooting for a target of 44K. Now, taking it from the high of this range to the last lower high, you can see that we broke out of that and we're retesting the back of this diagonal. So a fall below this, we're going to most likely retest the 39.7, 39.6 area, break below that, and we are looking at retesting the bottom of this range, this low time frame range, which is somewhere around here with a little deviation here, which would be around 37.5, 37.6. So we can either hold support here at this diagonal and really shoot for this 44 target, or we fall through there. More than likely we're going to fall through here and retest the 37.5, 37.6. At that point we could have a bounce from here, but the likelihood is, since we in this small range right here have set a lower high here and now another lower high that's rounding out and looking like we may be at a key point right here to hold so that we don't fall back through and really set the lower high here on the daily. But if we do, then the likelihood is if we get back to this level, we'll probably break it and head back down to the 35K level. At which point, we really need it to hold, because looking back on the daily, you can see that that is our last, daily and 3-day and weekly. This is a huge area for us to hold. Really, on the weekly, it's 37.5. On the daily, daily's the same. So 37.5 really to me is a big level to hold. Daily close below, weekly close below, and it's not looking good, man. I really think that we're headed back down to the very bottom of this trading range that we started trading in the beginning of last year, which is about that 30K level. Let's see, giant bear. Sorry, I gotta fix my chat over here. It's a little bit shrunk. Bear flag on the daily chart or ascending triangle. Giant bear flag on the daily chart. Let's see. Bear flag. Okay. Yeah, so I could totally see that. Something like that. Yeah, definitely. And again, guys, what I preach is there goes my green screen. What I preach is look at the macro first, zoom out and then zoom in. So what's the trend, right? We are clearly in a downtrend on the weekly time frame until we break above 43K and close. We're still in a downtrend. The play is short. And as you can see here, every pump up to that level to break this last lower high has been wicked out and rejected hard, especially the last two. Jeez Louise. I mean, seriously, got completely crushed by the end of the week. Let's look at the 3-day. 3-day actually had a close above the last high and immediately got rejected. So that's not something that you want to see. It shows that the bears are defending this level extremely hard. I mean, I'd say this area is really the area that we need to get past. 44.5 for me is something I'll be calling for. But 46 is like the extra boost to give you that all-in confidence. 44.5 is where I'm jumping in because it's clear enough area for me to set a stop right below, on a heavy spot bag, playing it up all the way back up to the highs, at least the 51K. But for right now, the short is the game. We're in limbo within this range that we've been trading, right? So this is not really an area to jump in on a high time frame. If you're scalping, if you're looking on lower time frames, that's different. But for now, in this range, the play is wait for it to get back up here if you missed it down here, and then look for shorts until you see strong volume and power shredding through that top level. And right now we had some good daily volume bringing us above these EMAs right here, the EMA 34 and the EMA 8. And we're also, we're retesting both converging EMAs right there. I like these EMAs because they are within the Fibonacci numbers. And let's look at the other MAs. So you got the 89 and the 100 moving average converging right up here at 42K. So that will probably act as some decent resistance right there. And checking out the Bollinger Bands, we are currently retesting that as well. So there's a lot of confluence with support with where we're at right now. Not as much on the daily, but on the 4 hour, again, going back to that diagonal that I pointed out to earlier in the stream, you can see that we've retested it. And on the daily time frame, there are some moving averages acting as support right there. So there's hope for a bounce here and playing it up to this channel on the low time frame. If you wanted to jump in and then play, maybe a stop below here, you could do that. Let me get rid of all this mess. So yeah, jumping in here, play, like a 2% stop loss below, yeah, maybe bring it down just a little bit lower than these last highs right here and play it up to the top here. You know, you could do that. So just look for support with volume here, and that could be a decent trade. Otherwise, what you can sit on your hands and look for other setups. Wait till the top of the range or wait to the bottom of the range to jump back in. Easy enough. But I do trade on the 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute on these lower time frames. We just did get a bounce here. Let's put on OBV and RSI and let's see what's going on here. Reset these filters. Let me get that going. So we're in the middle of relative strength with no bullish divergence. A little bit, it looks like there could be some bullish divergence on OBV here. So something to watch for here. This is the 1 hour. So this is where, you know, when you get to a decent high time frame, even, you know, 4 hour support or resistance level, it's good to look for these divergences because you are putting yourself at the best position to enter a trade with confluence of other strong indicators, but by themselves they're not as strong. But if you can have them all put together and packaged at the tightest entry where it's a very clear exit point, that's the best bet. That's the best bet because you're going to be wrong, but it's better to be wrong with a very tight stop in an obvious place with a lot of educated guesses behind you with a lot of indicators supporting your thesis, as opposed to jumping in on the daily time frame here and looking at the middle of this channel and saying, well, you know, I think it's going to go up to the top, but where do you put your stop? So it's good to have very clear exits and entries set, and don't jump in. You know, if you're not a low time frame trader and you just trade on the higher time frames, then you know what you need to do. You just wait till the top or wait to the bottom. Simple as that. Check out the 4 hour stock RSI, bro. Giant M pattern coming down. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. See what it's all about. Okay. So you said 4 hour. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, so even dragging this over a few different points right here, you can see that I could definitely see that this was resistance, broke through, signaled a power move there. We broke here, signaled a higher move there. We got rejected here, had a nice little dip from that rejection. Broke through here and we just retested here and pumped us here. But now we could be bouncing. So I wouldn't jump the gun because, you know, 4 hour we're easily could be tagging the 20 MA at the middle Bollinger Band. Again, the diagonal support that I mentioned, some daily time frame moving averages all converging where its price is meeting right now. And, you know, this hasn't signaled bearish just yet. So, but it's something to watch, right? Why not set an alert for a break here? Something to pay attention to for sure. So now I'm just going to go ahead and jump into some of these altcoins and just see what setups that I see. I don't have anything mapped out. So DJ Bravo, appreciate you hanging in there with me. If you want to shoot anything for me to look at, I would be more than happy to jump into the charts. But for me, I'm just going to start off with one of the trades that I had pointed out on TradingView. If you're not following me on TradingView, I'm EvDArRgfq. You can find me on there. Also on Twitter, where I post all of my setups. I'm posting, 15, 20 times a day with different ideas and thoughts and news and setups. So follow me on Twitter also on YouTube. If you're new to YouTube, subscribe so that you can catch my live streams and my crypto rundowns that I do throughout the week, giving you some exclusive setups through video But this is one that I posted, and credit goes to Castillo Trading on this one because I had no idea. I'd never even heard of this coin. But immediately it jumped out at me whenever he posted it, because it's not hard to see how brutally beaten down this chart has been. And then voila, look at all this volume coming in at this bottom. So this is like a red flag right here, or whatever you want to call it, an alert to pay attention, right? This first pump, like, okay, what's going on here? It didn't really have a significant, well, you know, it's stretched out on this chart, but didn't really move price too much, because you can see that this EMA 8 had been suppressing price for a very long time. And every pump up to the EMA 34 was rejected hard when price had previously been under the EMA 8. So just, you know, building the case like a detective, building the case. First break out above here and close above, strong volume coming in. Now it fell back below, but immediately a few days after, more strong volume pushed it back up and then supported, even with the strong rejection, the highest volume that it had seen in ages at the EMA 34. Well, this is the first time that the price had gotten above the EMA 8, held above, tested the EMA 34 for the first time since it's been above. So price rejected hard, but guess what? Now the daily closed today with strong volume above, and it is one of the only charts right now. It's up 15%. Everything else is in the red on my watch list outside of waves, which that is another one that I've been posting about, because it has been on an absolute tear also. So yeah, literally the only two that are in the green. And it's no coincidence. I mean, you look at volume and momentum, and that can really carry your trading portfolio and really put you forward if you just pay attention to that and some other just simple things like horizontal levels and you know, breaking those levels, being able to identify them. All right, so that one's working out great. I would pay attention to Jasmy coin, because as long as it's above this EMA 34, if there's a dip back to support of that, I'd be looking to buy it, because right now the play for me is back up to the EMA 89, and that right from where I posted this would have been 134% move. So I mean, you're still looking at like probably 100% from there, but up to this major horizontal level, you're looking at, you know, probably like 200%. So still plenty of room to run. This one's been beaten down and there's a lot of attention on it now. So pay attention to that one. Put it on your watch list. Check it out. All right, Ethereum. Let's see what's going on. Zooming out to the daily. Okay, so I've been watching this one too. Still very much in its range. Kind of broke out from here, retested, and now it's flattened out a little bit. Found really not too much of a horizontal support there. Let's see. We could call this bottom level the absolute demand zone if we fall back down. I'm going to stretch this out just a little bit here. This would be like the demand zone. If you can get a dip back there with a close below, get out and run. Then now we're going to look at this bad boy. And we got a break here. I'm going to drag this down a little bit, make it a little cleaner. Yeah, so I really don't like that diagonal. Sometimes you just got to play around with it to see. Diagonals are very subjective, and they're not always super clean. So I like to play around with them and see if I can find something that is pretty clean all the way through and through. Okay, so that's got All right, so I like that one. So that's got 1, 2, 3 body touches. It's pretty darn clean. It probably stretches out almost to there. Yeah, so that's probably what I would look at right there. And we definitely just got a break through that level on the daily. So that is good news for Ethereum holders. And the next level that I would be looking at is there's a daily NPOC right here. Naked point of control. Zooming in, you can see that it's probably going to be right here on the 4 hour. On the 2 hour, let's see where it would be. Yeah, right about here. And the 1 hour, about the same spot. So yeah, I like this as a potential target right here. To be safe, you could play it right here. So as of right now, as long as we hold above this diagonal, and let's see if we zoom out and see if there's like a horizontal going on. Yeah, right there. So we've got this pivot point right here that found a breakout and then support from this last high. And so right now, as long as we hold above, I like shooting after this target here, which is this MPOC. So this is what I'd be targeting from right here, as long as we are above this green line. Now, the moment that we close below, bombs away. I'd be looking to play it to this level, which is also a lower MPOC level. Zooming in, let's see if it's a little bit lower. So yeah, so I will call it this range right here. So there you have it. So short term on the 4 hour, looking at the 4 hour, as long as we hold above 27, let's call it 27, roughly 27.50, right? Then we should be good for a bounce to about 5% up here. And if we zoom out to the daily, there's a lot more room to run. Honestly, the top of this range is going to be, you know, probably up to here. We could stretch out to, would be the next one. And then really it relies on Bitcoin, because there is a humongous gap right here. I mean, this one is sick. This one is nasty. So there's a, this one would be, if really we just got to get above these peaks right here, these last highs, and it'll allow for a large run up to this MPOC area because of this gap over here. But we have this peak over here to get past. We have this peak, and we have this peak. But for sure, this MPOC is golden if we can start finding a bottom here and start seeing some support coming in, maybe on some bullish divergence right at resistance, or some volume coming in, some candle reversal pattern formations. Those are the things that I watch for at resistance. And that's when it's, like I said, when it's best to zoom in a little bit to see if you can get a early alert or an early sign that there's going to be a reversal. So just keeping an eye on this level, because we could be seeing a bounce here, but if we break down, there's a lot of room to fall back down to where we were holding the line before. So that's just kind of my view on Ethereum. Now going into Ave Maria. So this one has been in a clear downtrend for a while with some crazy volatility here and there. But the interesting thing on this one, let's see. So we haven't quite gotten above that peak, but if we zoom in here, let's see. Yeah, so we haven't gotten to that peak yet, but if we zoom in a little bit further, the moment that we broke down, that we broke out of this descending wedge, we've had a nice pop. The technical target of the descending wedge is going to be $188. So there's still a good amount of room to run, but there's this diagonal to keep an eye on from these two peaks. But before that, there is this MPOC. Let's look at it on the 4 hour to see what it would be. Yeah, so looking at it there, yeah, definitely. So yeah, I really like 168 as a good target from where we're at. This is way too in the middle, or even too close to the target to jump in now. But if you are playing this breakout, good for you. Good for you. You are in the money. And I mean, really, you had nothing to worry about from the moment it broke out. I mean, this is almost like a straight cannon shooting up. Let's see how much of a jump it was from the breakout point. So it got to 32%. We're at about 28% from where it broke out. So super, super nice trade if you got that. But I still think there's some room to run up to this MPOC, which almost lines up perfectly with that diagonal that I had mentioned before. So I would, and honestly, it's not, there's only 2 touches, so it's not going to be, I wouldn't put too much weight on it. Just something to look at if it all of a sudden got snagged up. And let's see what the moving averages look like here. So it's currently above all but EMA 89, which lines up almost perfectly with that daily MPOC that I had mentioned before. So that 168 target is looking like there's a magnet there. And the cool thing is that if we can get back above this 187, there is a huge gap to fill up to 226. So guys, I mean, if we get back above here, Ave Maria has like 33% more to the next gap fill with probably little resistance. So if Bitcoin is doing its thing, consolidating, staying above, staying in an uptrend, Ave is the horse to ride. Faux show. So next up, we got ADA. So ADA is interesting. Let's see what we're looking at here. It looks like we are trying to round out like we did here, but then, you know, set another lower high, a lower low. We broke there, but immediately had a swing failure pattern here, closed back below, and this would have been a super nasty short. I mean, that's so Gucci right there. you don't even know. That short would have been, that would have been so money. We got a 38% dip from that swing failure, and set another lower low, lower high, and we broke this plane here. So this is like pretty much the last horizontal, significant horizontal level of interest. So, you know, no need to really look back too far. You can just look right above and see that this is the big one to jump past. We're above the EMA 8, so that's a good sign. Strong rejection here on this breakdown below this level right here. So zooming in, I'm sure there's another little horizontal plane. Yeah, we got a dip there. So not as much really a horizontal. This is a invert. Interesting. So we had an inverse head and shoulders that failed right here. And that would have been another good short opportunity when we had that pattern fail right there. Boom. So now we are definitely rounding out. You can see it very plain and clear. You can see where we got this nice rounded bottom. And not too much volume's coming in. So really that's why price is not like jumping out for joy here. And it's falling right back below the 89 EMA. So not too much to get excited about, to be honest. But I do see this downtrend, and it keeps getting steeper. So I'm not jumping in anything just yet. The volume's not telling me anything. Even though this area got bought up quick. So I mean, right here, this is going to be a supply zone for sure until it's broken. So, you know, getting snagging an entry at 78 cents, 79 cents, 77 cents isn't a bad. 78 cents wouldn't be bad. And then just cutting it loose on a daily close below. Especially, you know, with these wicks coming and getting bought up pretty quick around here. So, but I would say first, got to get back above here, which is 85 cents. Get back above 85 cents. And then we can talk about this MPOC right here at 93. That's a healthy, almost 10% move. And then we've got this horizontal at, the dollar is going to be just a logical resistance point, but there is an MPOC right here. We can zoom in to see what it would be exactly. Let's see, probably right there. And then let's move this over right here, 91 cents. So yeah. So really kind of waiting for price to get back above here, at least on a 4-hour close. And then you can play it up to 92 cents and then play it up to $1. You know, it hits 92 cents. You could be looking to play it all the way back up to this peak, but this is kind of where I'd take profit. Usually the MPOC gets filled first, gets a little rejection, and it could continue or it could stall and come back down to support, and you could rebuy if you see support holding up. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. It's a rounded bottom. Probably with the lack of volume, this resistance levels might just send us back down to the supply zone before, you know, Bitcoin keeps moving and then pushes ADA back up and then really does something or falls deeper. So definitely be wary trading ADA. All right. We got Algo. Oof. Algo has been getting demolished as well. And it has been, for a while, held down by the 20 MA. Just chilling on that bottom band on the daily. Let's see if there's a diagonal line that's holding it as well. Okay, so you can see that on the daily at least, Algo has broken this little downtrend here, and there's a little bit of volume coming in to push it through, but it got rejected at the 20 MA. So maybe you wait for a clearance of the 20 MA to play it back to the top of the band, which would be about 12%, 11%, depending on where the band sits by the time it breaks above the 20 MA. But we can zoom in a little bit and see what's going on under the covers of the low time frames. So volume here is strong at resistance, send it back down. And you can see that, let me turn this off real quick. We stretched out to the top of the band, and we're coming right back down to the 20 MA on the 4 hour, in which we could get support there or come back down and retest this diagonal trend line that we broke out on the daily time frame. And Soul, yeah, definitely, brother, definitely. So yeah, just to finish my thought on Algo, I would watch for bounce off this diagonal, and I don't see like a very clear horizontal on the low time frame. Maybe right here. Zoom in a little bit more on the 1 hour. Yeah, Algo has been super choppy. Yeah, you could look for a bounce right up here, since there was a peak here that we broke past, found support, nice bounce, and now we're looking to retest right here. So this is kind of where I would look to enter, exit on this daily high time frame breakout as a potential jump into a bigger move on the higher time frame with a lot of upside. As long as it holds outside of that diagonal and it breaks above the 20 MA, like I said, play it up to the top of the Bollinger Band. But the last MPOC on the daily is 96 cents. And just looking at it on the 4 hour, yeah, I mean 94 to 96, I would say is safe to say that is where the naked point of control is. So somewhere up here, just look to take profit if you do find a good entry here and you want to ride it on the higher time frame long term. Soul, oof. So yeah, I mean I'd be looking for this 20 MA to hold up. You can see, yeah, it hasn't really reacted as much as some of the other charts that I've looked at with the Bollinger Band at the 20 MA. So let's just scrap the Bollinger Band. Let's see. I just like to find what the chart likes to react to. So I'll play around with different moving averages. Really, the main one that I look at is this EMA triple threat. I do like the 50 and 100 EMA, and then the 200, and then I like RSI and OBV also. Those are the other ones. Let's see what we got. Okay, so let me zoom back out. So daily time frame, we've got OBV under, yeah, see OBV is underneath this major area of resistance. You can see that it's bounced multiple times at this area. So that would be one sign on a high time frame that I'd be looking for to signal a reversal. There was a fake out right here, and it quickly fell below and then retested and then got rejected. So OBV, that's what I'd be looking at. But it does look like we are in a descending wedge of some sort, I believe. Yeah, that's what I would call it. So that's the pattern that I'd be looking at, is this descending wedge to break out of. Coincidentally, the EMA 34 has acted as resistance 3 times now. And that this EMA 34 is very significant on a lot of charts, I've noticed. The 89 and the 34. So I would definitely be paying attention to this 34. And coincidentally, it coincides perfectly with that diagonal trend line. So this is one that I love to put an alert on, because the moment that it breaks that, it's either a super easy scalp, because you know that price is going to react to it. It's been significant enough that the moment it breaks that, it should have an initial pop of some sort. It could get super exhausted real fast and come right back down if it's weak. There's no volume supporting it. So you definitely want to see volume supporting it to confirm continuation out of that pattern into its technical target, or at least to the next MPOC. Personally, I've almost scrapped technical targets with patterns, just because especially trading altcoins, there's so much to factor in to getting to a high time frame technical target. Like, what is Bitcoin doing? What is the market doing overall? So I'd rather just trade to a point where I feel very confident it's going to get to. So MPOCs are essentially like the CME gaps. Like, it's just a point of which there has been no trading from the last point of control, and it has not gone back to that point. And usually price gets to that point. It gets to one or the other pretty quickly whenever it separates from a resistance point. So this is a significant resistance point. I'm going to zoom in to find like a very solid MPOC that I'd be looking at. I just right off the bat, I see one right here. And right there on the 1 hour. This one tried to get back up to it. Still could call it an MPOC, but it almost got there. So I really would be playing to this one and this one. So I'm going to zoom back out. I'll probably drop it a little bit lower there just to be more conservative. All right. So yeah, so Gucci. On the 4 hour, the peaks are going to be a little bit different. They're not going to look exactly the same. So it's up to you whether you want to play the 4 hour peaks or whatever time frame you're trading on. But the daily to me looked very clean. Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, so that's what I'd be looking at. I'm gonna wait till either down here to look maybe for a bounce off of this bottom of the wedge, since there's not really a clean horizontal across. And I think I'm on the Femex Sol chart, so there's not a lot more data before that to look at. But yeah, descending wedge, get above the EMA 34 and above this diagonal triangle, or descending triangle, descending wedge, and play it up to 94 and 99, with a lot more upside potential if Bitcoin's running with it. But like I said, playing to the more conservative target, amplifying it with some leverage if you're confident in those targets, or if you want to just play a spot trade up to that point, whatever your preference is. But that's what I'd be looking at. But right now it's a no trade zone for me, unless you're just super keen on trading Sol, which is fine. And 15-minute chart just looks like garbage. MPOC for the 15 minutes down here, I mean, it just looks like we're kind of at this point right here. This is kind of the last man standing right here. Oh my gosh. So this could be a really good short opportunity here shortly. So there's about to be a 4 hour close, and we're sitting at, we got a bounce at the EMA 89. So could get a bounce here. And there's not a lot, honestly, there's not a lot of sell volume coming in. So there could be a bounce coming in here. Let's see, 2 hour. So yeah, if you're just wanting to trade SOL, this is probably where I'd be looking for a bounce. On the 2 hour, this is the EMA 89. These peaks probably will act as support. Definitely wouldn't short at this point. But on the 15-minute, like I said, it doesn't look great. I think there's still a little bit more room to fall. But yeah, you'd be wanting to short, up here on this M pattern break. Definitely up here, and there was very strong volume coming here on this rejection, on this pump back up to the EMA 89, and on the low time frames, the EMA 8 is a quick trending moving average to follow. As you can see, it's been holding down the price on the 15-minute, so get a break back above that would be a good sign. You might just jump in a quick trade, play it back up to the EMA 34 on the low time frame. But for me, this is not a no trade zone right now until we get back to a resistance point or a support. Let's see. So I'm going to jump into Atom now. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing real quick. Yeah, Bitcoin's catching on this area right here. Very interesting. Wonder, let's see if we're getting any kind of divergence. Got a little triple bottom here. Yeah, we could see a bounce right here. This would be an area to watch for a quick wick down to, and then get bought back up and hold this line. But the 4 hour is closing below this pivot point and setting this lower high. So it's no bueno, but I'm going to start paying attention to just right here to see if there's any signs of life. Which, nothing there, nothing with volume. And definitely still below here, which that would have been, didn't get quite back up to that level to short, but that's kind of where I would have been looking to get a short on this little bounce off of the diagonal. Yeah, so for now we're kind of in limbo in here. Limbo land. All right, so we're just hanging tight though right now. Nothing major. Let's jumping into Atom. So, not really a head and shoulders pattern, but a triple bottom maybe forming on the daily and on the weekly. You can see that this level is trying very hard to be a decent little supply area, or demand area, I should say, and wanting to hold the line here. So weekly close below $26, and we will almost definitely retest this level. So paying attention this weekend to see what happens, but I will probably set an alert for here to see if There's a good short opportunity on Atom on the 3-day. Three days looking like this. Get a little tighter. So yeah, so I mean, this is kind of the level I'm looking at to hold. And honestly, guys, I mean, whenever Bitcoin is at a point where it's broken out and it's consolidating and potentially about to move big, I mean, these are the charts where you're seeing that it's holding support, and you know, it's a hot chart. It has been a hot chart. It has a lot of potential to run when things get good again. So I like the upside up here, you know, looking for good opportunities. Not for me, it's not like right this second opportunity, but it's one to just keep on your watch list, keep paying attention to see if anything starts forming, anything breaking, any volume coming in, because this one could run hard whenever Bitcoin decides to wake up from its slumber and get real volatile and real angry with the market, or run hard against the market. So yeah, I mean, it you know, on the 8 hour, it just broke out here, but week breakout, not a lot of volume, so it's coming right back down. It's probably going to test this support level again here. Actually, I will put it on the flip side of that. So I can look to buy support here if we get another opportunity, and just depends on where Bitcoin is. Let's look at AVAX. So AVAX looks very strong. There is a conference coming up with AVAX here very soon. So I think there's a little bit of buy the rumor kind of thing going on, buy the hype of this conference. And let's see. Yeah, this is a pretty solid support level right here. Horizontal. You can see that it has acted as support and resistance a few times. Resistance, resistance, support, 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 support. So this area is definitely one it wants to hold. But you can see that, let's see, on the daily, not as obvious, but the 12 hour, okay. Yeah. So interesting to see that it had found, so it has liked this 89 EMA a couple times there. It got rejected at the EMA 34 a few times, broke out, and then really shot way above the 89, came back down. Quick fake out underneath the 34, but shot back up and retested the supply area, or demand area, and now we've set a lower high and another lower high. We just broke that downtrend here. Actually, let's play it from this peak and see. Wow, actually we did just break this decent little downtrend from the beginning of February, so that's pretty good. And we're finding support at the 89 EMA. So this chart is one that I like right now. It looks way more bullish than some of the other ones we were looking at. Let's see if we wanted to play it right now. You could wait for a retest at the diagonal trend line, or you could, do something like this where you play it right below this peak, this EMA 89, and below the diagonal. Ooh. So we got an alert for that stochastic. Let's see. I think we were on the 4 hour. Yeah. So the 4 hour just closed, fell below that pivot point, and your M pattern on the 4 hour, which was this area that we talked about earlier, DJ Bravo, you can see that we are breaking through it, which is not a good sign, but this next 4 hour close would really give more confirmation to see if we're trending below or if this is going to be a bounce, because there's still time to round out. But yeah, definitely something to watch. And like I said, on the 1 hour on Bitcoin, we're below here. So currently, for me, jump back above here. You got me interested in back above this diagonal, and we could be running again, especially with volume coming in there. So just watching and observing for now to see what Bitcoin wants to do until I go to bed. And then it's going to break out while I'm asleep and I'll miss the trade. It's usually how it goes. But let's see. So yeah, back to what I was saying with AVAX. You can see that was that on the 12 hour? Yeah, 12 hour. You could play this, right? But this formation here, I want to just be a little bit cautious because this looks very much like a top with these wicks to the upside. This is kind of a evening star pattern, somewhat not super clean. This has the makings of one right here. This could be a tweezer top on the daily, but there's still a lot of time on those candles to close, but it's just something to pay attention to. Double top, let's see, on the 1 hour, definitely on the 1 hour. And did we get a breakdown? Oof, I mean, it was right at it. And the way price is acting, I mean, let's just go ahead and do away with that bad boy. We'd be looking at like something like that. I mean, that's something. So that is super close. Let's see. It's hard to tell whether it closed below this M pattern or not. It looks like it held like right at it on that 30 minute. So yeah, we could get a little wick back down and then a bounce from here. But it really depends on Bitcoin. This could be a really good short opportunity, honestly. On the 15 minute, you can see it close back above. So it's kind of hard to read depending on what time frame you're looking at. I'd like a little bit more of a confirmed close below. But the sell volume coming in there wasn't super strong to indicate that there's going to be a further continuation of that trend. So that one's a tough one. I'd probably just wait and watch to see what's going on, because you could easily get reversed on that short. So this is more of an observing thing to see like which way the trend's going to be going. But on the high time frame, definitely bullish at the moment, but be cautious because we are at this EMA 89 where it could be resistance. Otherwise, we found support, super strong weekly candle. Let's see where it closes. Interesting enough, that red horizontal, was that a 1 hour? Yeah, that was, let's see. So on the weekly, we closed back above this almost W neckline on a weekly time frame, and that would be super strong. The volume is still pretty weak though on the weekly, but like there's 3 more days. So this is a good chart to watch because this one is one that I'd be looking to long on the high time frames. If everything stays the same and we keep pushing up. So AVAX is definitely one I'm going to put on my watch list. Oh. Ooh. So Axie Infinity. Super clean bottom. I like that booty. So, this is like straight up super clean bottom. the volume came in strong here above this EMA 34, but man, just couldn't hold up. And the volume has been declining, as you can see. Let's see, let's get the yes, I mean, price right here was running into support, and there was a clear upward trajectory of this OBV bouncing here hard and holding the line. So as long as we keep holding this line, this is a nice one. And Axie is one of the hottest pay to play games in the metaverse with NFTs. There's a lot going on with Axie. It's a very, very, very popular game. So, you know, RSI trending up while price was trending down here. So this one is very interesting. With Bitcoin above that diagonal trend line and a lot of upward room to go, this one again would be one to play, given that it's at support right now. I'd probably seen that on the daily. The EMA 34 has held it down twice. I'd want to see a rake above there, but you could dollar cost average into a position here and then cut it loose if it gets a daily close below this super clean horizontal level right here. On the 4 hour, we did already see a pump in volume. Let me go ahead and get rid of this and see what's going on with OBV and RSI in this move. So there was, on this 4 hour, we did see right at the top of RSI, we saw some bearish divergence. So that would have signaled this little dip we're in right now. But we're finding support. What in the world? Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? That's no bueno. So that was definitely support, resistance. Broke out on the strong volume of that previous resistance. So that's a really good sign. That's where I'd want to be buying right there on that strong volume breakout. And then boom, we got the retest and a bounce. And that's where it's good to also pay attention to these indicators on breakouts, because you can see what's under the cover sometimes that price action is not showing you. Volume declined pretty swiftly after that pump on the breakout, and you can see it was shown on balance volume with the bearish divergence there, and also on RSI right at the overbought territory. So that would have been an indication that you should watch out. So it closed below this resistance. To me, that's pretty clear on the 4 hour. So although there's this moving average that looks to potentially act as support right here with the converging at the 34 and the 89, I would probably be looking, especially with Bitcoin kind of in this limbo land, the way that this should play out as it stands without Bitcoin running and making this go back up, would be playing it back down to this demand zone right here at like 46.50. A break back above this level, jump back in, especially with volume coming back in, and especially because of the clear bottom that's forming on the high time frame. When volume wants to come in, support a bounce off this level, Axie could run, and NPOC that be looking at me would be it would be 92,093. Let's call it conservatively 91.34. We'll give you a little zone. That zone to look at, because it just looks nicer when there's a big box instead of just a little skinny line. I like big boxes, big things. So, I mean, to me, I mean, there's definitely an MPOC up here, although price chased it right here. Honestly, so it's going to be a little bit closer down here. Okay, so first up to bat above this level, I'm looking at 96, or about a 9% move up to 54.50. Then, I mean, on the 4 hour, you got that one, 63. And then you've got that one on the 4 hour right here. And that one there. So those are the ones I'd be looking at. But man, I mean, Axie Infinity has a lot of room to really do some things. We just need volume to come back in. Give this bad boy some life. I mean, just look over here. So it found the same bottom over here on the 4 hour a few times. This level is pretty strong. This one I'm putting on my watch list because if it gets back down to this level, I'm gonna be buying it. Super clean exit. It's just such an easy in and out. I mean, it's already teetered past whatever diagonal. You know, you can see there, retested it, but no volume coming out of that diagonal. That's why I don't really like diagonals. I just like diagonals as a leading indicator of a potential breakout. There's one, there's a fork breakout, but no volume. Fell right back below it, but it came back to this horizontal level that had been strong support, and then, you know, and then supporting volume came in. Still not a lot of volume, so it just barely propped it up. But now you can see that we, you know, broke above that low time frame horizontal plane, and that's where the pump came in. It wasn't on a diagonal break, it was the horizontal low time frame break right there. It could call that a inverse head and shoulders. Not super clean, you know what I mean, but still so Axie Infinity, paying attention to you, my dude or my lady. Axie Infinity kind of sounds more like it would be a lady, so Axie, it's kind of a cool name. If I had another son, I feel like I'd actually consider Axie, or maybe it's a girl, you know, maybe it's Axie. I don't know, I'm confusing myself. You can vote for Axie. Is it a girl name or a boy name? All right, good old BNB. I don't know if I'm gonna make it down my whole list, to be honest. I'm getting a little sleepy at 11:15. If you're hanging with me, much love, bro. Much love. So that's the diagonal I'll be looking at. Coincidentally, it looks kind of like an inverse head and shoulders. Let's see if it plays all the way up here. See, that could be a breakout. Man, that was a long downtrend. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Okay, so BNB looks very similar actually to Bitcoin. Although, or actually, yeah, pretty similar, pretty damn similar. Huh. Yes, I mean, you got... Yeah, that's clean right there. That's what I like. That's what I like. That's what I like. And so we got to break out there. This is the demand zone. Demand zone. Zone. And I would say kind of trading, might be trading in this range. That's kind of what I'd look at. The MPOC got filled right here, but this one I'd play up to the horizontal at 12%. Let's get the good old Fibonacci out here. Hey, we're showing our green box lining up with the golden pocket, so that's always good to see. Some confluence there. Yeah, so right at the 0.5 level, we just broke out of diagonal resistance with no volume, really. OBV still trending up, although it did break down and now it's retesting. So would like to see it flip back above that diagonal, and yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would set an alert right there. Break back above there. Break back above here for sure. On the RSI. And break back above here. The 382. And you play it up to, I mean, really, you could play it up to the top of the fib. See the couple of wicks got up here, but it closed at this horizontal. So you might take profit a little earlier, but with definitely upside to get back up here. But if volume starts supporting this bounce off of the diagonal breakout with a break above this horizontal plane on the daily time frame, there's a lot more room to run, because we could break past here, go up to the last MPOC on the daily, which, zooming in a little bit, looks like there's one right here first, and then all the way up here. So yeah, I do like BNB with where it's at. I just want to see some volume coming in, and I want to see it hold support at the 0.5 level of that fib. But there's a good upside there. All right, I think I'm tapped out, guys. I only made it to the B's. Only made it to the B's. Well, thanks for watching. If you hung in there in this hour-long stream, you were a true homie of the Cryptologist, and I appreciate it. Feel free to DM me with any charts, any info that you're looking to get, any advice, any tips you want. Always happy to share when I have time. I will hit you back when I can. Subscribe and like this if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on, what else would I like you to follow me on? Twitter, YouTube. Oh, TradingView. TradingView, if you haven't already, I post there, but pretty much I do maybe once or twice a week on TradingView, mainly all on Twitter. But thanks again, guys, for watching. God bless. Good night. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a good weekend. Don't get too hungover.